What's up, guys? Today we're taking a look at this knife. This is the Begg Knives Bodega. I happen to have the box here. This is what the box looks like. Very simple. Here you go. Begg Knives, because life doesn't come pre-sliced. That's pretty cool. So this is the Begg Knives Bodega. This is the cheaper version. This is based off of the Begg Custom Bodega, which is much bigger. This has a D2 steel blade and a nice inset. It's kind of like an inset steel frame lock kind of deal. It's kind of weird. It still has this like overlay. I don't know. It's kind of like a split frame. Like this part of the frame steel. This part of the frame is G10, and then this is also G10 as well, the front side. It's this nice like smooth G10, and then they mill this like nice milling like diamond texture into it, and then around the pivot as well. It's kind of cool. I think they did a good job. Lots of hardware. I mean, that's a lot of screws. Do you really need that many screws? I don't know. I think it's because of the design with all the other holes in the blade and then in this lock bar. Kind of interesting. It's got some jimping here to disengage it. It's very smooth, runs on bearings. Very snappy. It's almost completely, well, I wouldn't say it's drop shut. When you unlock the lock bar, it drops. But then when you take your hand off the lock bar, there's some resistance because of the detent ball running on the blade. So it's fairly smooth. It snaps open because it has a very strong detent. It's one thing about this knife, it has a very strong detent. You can definitely tell that, like, if you put your fingers on this lock bar, it's really easy to lock bar pressure yourself, so you can't open it. So if you have your hand on that lock bar, it will stop the blade from coming open. So you gotta make sure you keep your hand off that lock bar, and then it'll swing open, slam open. It's got the standard kind of Bodega blade. It's very much a Bodega. I mean, it looks just like one. This is just a cheaper, lower end model compared to the custom ones. I've actually handled the custom Bodegas. They are bigger and they look a little bit, they look a lot fancier. And they get really fancy too. But it's a pretty good representation of what the Bodega is. The custom one is like. It's just for people, a cheaper version so everybody can try it. It's still expensive. I think this one was like 120 brand new. I got it for a cheap price through somebody else, but yeah, they're usually about 120, I think, brand new. It is hollow ground, which is kind of cool. It's got this nice kind of it's a very subtle hollow grind, but you can feel it. I like the blade. It looks good. You can see there it's got a big swedge on the top. It's got the folder that runs out with the holes in it. Good design. I think it flows well together. It's not my favorite style. I mean, it's definitely got its own personality, but it definitely flows well. Like the blade goes with the handle very nicely. Yeah, it's nice satin grind on there. Got the Begg Knives logo on this side. If I can get it to focus, there you go. And then on this side, it's just, there's nothing on it. It's just plain. I don't think it actually says D2 anywhere on here. I've kind of looked for it, and it doesn't really say it anywhere on the blade, which is kind of cool. It keeps it sterile, keeps it clean, so you just focus on the design of the knife, which is cool. One thing I will mention, this pocket clip is a little bit weird. It's like a stamped steel clip, which is kind of sad. I think they could have done better with that. And also, this ball bearing is cool, and I like the idea, but it is a little bit, stiff. And also, it doesn't go with the pocket clip. Like, I feel like the steel ball should be on a much thicker, like milled clip of some kind. Also, why is it black? That's one thing I don't understand. Because the hardware is all silver, and the lock bar is silver, and the blade's silver, and so is the pivot here as well. But then the pocket clip is black. I don't know why they chose to do that. I feel like it would have looked way better if it were silver. Match the hardware and the blade and everything. And the same thing with the backspacer is also black. I mean, maybe they were trying to match these two with each other, but I just think it would have been much better if they were silver to match the steel lock and everything, all the hardware, which is a little bit weird. I think they could have changed that and made it silver as well. It's got a lanyard hole here for anybody who needs a lanyard hole. It's not a particularly large knife. It's kind of like a little banana. At least the shape of it is, because it's very curved. You can tell here. I get all 4 fingers in there. This flipper tab does kind of run into my finger when I'm holding it. It's a little bit uncomfortable right there because it kind of stabs your finger. It like comes back and pokes your finger, which isn't great. And you can see I'm just getting all 4 fingers in there. A little bit squished. They could have been bigger. They should have made it the size of the original one, but I understand they made it smaller for a reason. It's got a very thick kind of frame lock here. Nice detent. Completely solid, open. No movement up, down, left, or right. No problems there. Very smooth. Runs on bearings. Very nice, consistent. Very snappy. I mean, that detent really thwacks it out there. You can definitely see, like, it definitely comes out quick. And it's smooth, too. And then the centering is, actually, let's see how centering. Looks pretty close to centered. Maybe ever so slightly off, but it's pretty good. Let's do some size comparisons. Up against the... Oh, I'm not using this mat. I said I might be using this mat in my videos, but I'm not because it's too dark. And it did not look good in the video, I don't think. So compared to the QSP Penguin, here we go. You see it's bigger than the QSP Penguin and the Benchmade Bug Out. See, it's bigger than those. And then we'll also compare it to Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Spyderco, if I can get it out, Para 3. You can see there it's kind of right between the Para 3 and the PM2. Definitely more towards the PM2 size, but still a bit smaller than that as well. And then we'll also compare it to some bigger knives. I would call this a medium smallish size knife. I'd say a medium size knife. Although the handle feels more like a smaller handle. 308, ZT 308. And what else do I have? I'll compare it to my Microtech MSI. These awesome OG goat scales on there. So yeah, you can see there it's definitely smaller than those. It's not going to be a huge thing in your pocket. You will feel it. One interesting thing is it's kind of thick. It does have inset steel liners. Or no, inset, like it has the inset steel liner on the one side, and then it has the steel part on this side. So it's like kind of split. It's a little bit weird. You can't really see it because of the back spacer, but you can kind of tell how you can't really see it. This has the steel lock bar here with the holes in it, and then on the other side there's a piece of steel. Let's see, is there? Maybe I'm mistaken. Actually, it doesn't look like there is. Nope, it's just on the one side. There's just an inset steel liner on the one side that comes out and is the steel lock bar. It runs behind this piece, I believe. Yeah, you can see it there a little bit. So, yeah, because it runs up to the pivot. But definitely interesting. You don't really see this kind of like sub-frame lock very often. Definitely interesting design. And then this front scale is just G10, I believe. I can't really tell. Yeah, there's no steel on this side. It's just G10. So, yeah, this is an interesting knife. It's not really my style. I mean, it's comfy. The action is excellent. It's a little bit of a stiffer detent, but it feels good. It's very smooth. But it's just a little bit ugly. And I would say the detent is slightly too strong. I could make it a little bit weaker. It would have been better. And I like strong detent, so it's really saying something. Maybe make the handle a little bit longer because it's really annoying to get your finger up here and then it jams into the flipper tab. No jimping on the top of the blade either. That would have been nice. It's a little bit weird how it like goes down and then runs up here and then it goes back up. It's like this weird area in here. They could have kept it all flat on that top part, which would have been cool. But that's just my preference. And then also there's like this big choil here that you can use, but it's like not big enough. Like you can't really fit one whole finger in there because you're running up on the blade. And then, you know, if you come back at all, then you're behind the flipper tab. So they could have done a better job there too, I think. But it's definitely a good design. And I like I tried the custom one out at a show, and the original, the big Bodega, and I thought it was really, really nice. I liked it better than this, obviously. But, yep, that's it for this one. One more thing, I will take the weight on this so you guys can see how heavy it is. It's steel and G10 and D2 steel, so it's going to be heavier. Yeah, 5.9 ounces. That's heavy for a D2 and G10 knife. I mean, it is a frame lock, so that's where you get a lot of the heft is from the steel bar here. It is pretty thick though, but yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit hefty in your pocket. You can definitely feel it. It's got a lot of weight. But that's it for this one. Let me know what you guys think. I think I liked the Begg Knives Astro a little bit better, but that was just my preference. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and have a great day. Bye.